Alrighty, welcome traders. It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. Let's jump into the markets and see how things are going on the day today. Pretty good update on the markets, although gave back quite a bit a little bit later in the afternoon, but still finished nicely higher. We closed a couple winning trades today as well, and did a lot of work with our members on a new 112 trade on futures, like exactly how to put that trade on. Went through a lot of different examples today. So we'll touch base on that. We'll also look at the small account today, and we're also going to look at the IRA account today, both doing fantastic. Let's dive into it. So let me share, and let's jump into the markets and see where things are. So overall right now in the market, we had a pretty good update on SPY, gaining 0.5%. Was up more on the session. So as you can see here on the daily, we gave back about half of the session. So we did break back above the 21 EMA, continuing our 3-day pretty significant rally here. As the PSR again 3 days ago said, we were on a bullish run. So we're back up about halfway in this channel, breaking above the 21 EMA and failing right at the 50 EMA exactly and dropping back about half the width. However, taking a look at this daily chart here, you've got MACD that's continued to rise, broke positive yesterday. So we had a nice crossover yesterday, moving higher today. RSI breaking the 50 level. So really, really bullish daily action on SPY. If we look at the weekly though, we remain in the downtrend. Right now, this is nothing more than a higher high coming off of a lower high coming off of a lower low. We did not get a chance to fill this entire gap here as well, and I'll extend this out a bit, but we do have a gap on SPY, did not get filled today. We only made it about halfway through that gap when we failed. So I'm going to guess we're going to still try to fill this gap at some point in time. We'll see if we still have the steam to do it, even though the steam ran out of the markets about halfway through the trading session today. But overall, still in a bearish trend, but MACD trying to reverse this week. Like I said, 1 day doesn't make it a reversal. 2 days, I got to see an entire week where we actually reverse on MACD and RSI. However, they are both trending higher on using this week's strong up move. So we'll see what happens in both of those. We take a look at the Qs. Very similar setup on the Qs. 3 solid days of up days on the daily. MACD rising strong. I mean, this would be, I would be bullish right here, at least for a short-term trade. Breaking above the 50 EMA yesterday and staying above it today. 21 heading higher. Good bullish looking outlook right here. If we extend this trend line over though, you'll see that this trend line that we've hit twice now, third hit on that trend line and failed all 3 times. So the downtrend still remains intact, not saying anything besides that, but we do have a second better week of MACD and rising RSI. So it is positive. We're still on lower lows and lower highs for now. We have to break this downtrend, and then we're also going to have to break these previous highs, and we'll see what happens in the market overall. And then on IWM, this thing just getting a little bit of a bounce in the session today. We've got some gap to fill here as well. We'll extend this thing out so you can see a little better, but we still have a gap fill here. We'll see if we can get there. If you're looking at this overall range that we've been trading in here on the weekly, we're really smack dab in the middle of this thing. A couple of days ago, dropped towards the bottom and then started to bounce a bit. MACD, RSI, curling a tad, but it's only a 1 bar. I'm not too excited about the 1 bar, as I've mentioned previously. On the daily, though, finally a MACD crossover today, and RSI getting doggone close to that 50 mark. So positive up move. Do we have enough to keep going, or are we going to tip over? And do we take a little bit of a break before we move higher? We'll see. Right now, though, I'm still not ultra bullish on any of these, but we'll take the moves that we're seeing in front of us. We take a look at the SPX 50 moving average, the amount of stocks above that, we did move higher on the day and then closed way off of those highs. So still only about 24% of stocks in the S&P 500 trading above their 50-day moving average. That's a fairly bullish looking sign and a fairly oversoldish looking sign. We'll see if this helps out at all, keep the markets from moving down. And the put call, pretty much not doing a whole lot of anything, right in the middle, not at an extreme level. VIX dropped on the day all the way down to 17. So the VIX remains low. Thought you were getting a little excitement when it got to 20 and then back to 17. VIX down almost 4% on the day. Volatility just coming out of the market. A nice sign, US dollar dropped again for, what is it, the fifth straight session now, all the way down and hitting the 21 EMA moving average. MACD, though, crossed negative, breaking lower. RSI heading lower, almost to 50, tipping over on the weekly as well. All very good signs for a lot of what we do, especially Forex trading. So we want to see that dollar starting to come off. TLT did nothing on the session. So decent update yesterday. Didn't do anything. Gap down. Tried to pull up a little bit. Finished off of its highs. It still looks constructive. MACD still trying to turn. RSI still trying to get higher. However, remains solidly in these downtrends on the weekly. Even though we could start to see some bottoming action, we're not there. And TLT is probably the worst vehicle for me to want to get into it. I actually nibbled on bonds yesterday by selling a naked put in bond futures. That trade is up right now 42.5% in one day. So while I'm up 42.5% in one day on my bond trades, half of the people that are in TLT and TMF are down about the same amount in about 5 weeks. So good luck on that. TNX off of its highs as well. So we're seeing the 10-year drop a bit. Very positive for the market, positive for bonds, positive for the market. We want to see that 10-year pulling back a little bit more. MACD has been definitely tipping over. RSI falling on the daily, trying to tip over a bit on the weekly. Have we seen the highs? Yeah, I'm not willing to go there yet, but we definitely have seen a temporary high for now and some definite pullback, which has been really good for the markets as of late. Let's jump into some of the futures markets. Decent day in Aussie dollar land, another up day on that. So this is really 4 straight up days, really 5 straight up days. MACD moving higher, RSI moving higher on the daily and the weekly. I like where 6A is in here. We looked at, and I did a video just for Discord members today, about an hour long, fantastic video on how to trade the 112 properly in a lot of different futures. We covered lean hogs, we covered livestock, we covered 6A, which is the Aussie dollar. We covered the euro as well. We covered gold, we covered oil, and we covered ES in there as well. And we covered copper today. So lots of really interesting opportunities. Found some excellent trades in there. We were able to make some really great 112 trades using futures. I think there's some great opportunities out there. And I think 6A is one of the best ones right now. So I would be looking at that. We had to tweak it a bit, but we came up with a really great one. If you're not a member of the Discord, I'm not here to sell you. This is a recap video, but if you're not there, you're missing a ton of education. The 6A trade that we put on and we mapped out today, that will cover your membership for like 4 to 5 months. So come on, join us, see what we're doing, give it a shot, and see what the education looks like. It's enough of that. I'll move off of that piece. If we look at the euro today, also moving itself higher, MACD, RSI moving up on the daily, good bottoming action, still in this long downtrend. We'll see how this pans out. But if we draw really on this downtrend, here's what we're seeing, and it matches up pretty nice on the daily here. We came right up to the downtrend line today, and that also happens to be this previous low resistance level. I'm going to extend this thing out. a bit so you can see what that looks like here. This is exactly where we failed today. The convergence of this downtrend line and the convergence of this previous support that we've hit twice now. And then we hit it again here as a resistance level. We're hitting it here as resistance. It's really key for us to break through this resistance right here. A lot of stuff riding on this particular trade. And if we really put a trend line down on the bottom here, connect some of these bottom ones. It's not exactly a wedge. It's pretty much of a channel, but we'll keep an eye on it. If it gets a little tighter, it's got some similar properties to that wedge. If you break to the upside, I really think we can move somewhere on the Aussie dollar. So keep an eye on that. Oil had a little bit of a down day today, which is exactly what we predicted yesterday. So yesterday in the session, we had gapped up, jumped above the 50 moving average, jumped all the way up to the 21 and failed. We finished off of those highs yesterday. I told all the members we would not be going higher today, that I expected a full pullback. I think that was an overdone move. Didn't get a major pullback, had a very minor pullback today. It had been more significant down to the 50, and then it finished off of its lows as well. Constructive on MACD and RSI. MACD is reversing higher. RSI trying to get there, but not oversold, also not breaking above the 50. So I still think there's potentially a little bit more downside in oil. I think it was overblown yesterday. I really don't see a major catalyst to drive oil yet. Yes, terrible war, Iraq getting involved, Iran getting involved, Israel against Hamas, terrible stuff happening over there in the Gaza Strip. I feel bad for the innocents, not for the guilty. But I don't see how oil is getting impacted yet. Until something major snaps on the oil side, does Saudi Arabia start to get involved in something? Does Iran start to mine the ships and blockade some ships in the Straits of Hormuz? How much does Iran get into this? I did see something hilarious today, though. There was a report that Janet Yellen says they're going to try to move oil down to the $60 range. I think that's hilarious. I don't know if she found Harry Potter's magic wand somewhere, but there's no way in hell that Janet Yellen is going to get oil to drop to $60. They blew it. The administration blew it. They drained the strategic petroleum reserves all the way down to like a 19-day supply. You can't release any more oil from that. You're out of oil. You've drained all of our resources. And instead of refilling it when oil was trading back around 66, 70 range, it's now in the 80s and we're screwed. So appreciate that, Janet, but I don't think it's going to go well for you or this administration on the oil platform. I do think oil could have some more downside. If we're looking at the weekly here, it's still in a downtrend channel. MACD dropping, RSI has been dropping. Little bounce yesterday on the war news, and then back to dropping a bit today. I think we could drop more. I am actually going to be getting long on any further drop. So if we can drop closer to the low 80s, I'm buying, or I'm selling naked puts in CL right now. I've already started. I will be layering more in on that trade. So I think that's a great trade. And then if we take a look at gold here today, gold continuing to stabilize here, coming off of those lows from several sessions ago, hitting up to about 1880 again today. Didn't quite get on the daily here, this dot, which is the PSAR signal. If we could break this 180 level, that will trigger a bullish PSAR signal that goes along with this rising RSI, rising MACD on the daily, and potentially this curve and turnover here on the weekly. Still in a downtrend. However, I think gold's pretty good here. I liked it so much that I sold naked puts here as well. If you want to see what we did, come over and check it out, and you'll see what we're doing. And then on copper, I did get into a copper trade, so we'll start covering copper a bit more now for members. You know, let me bounce back out on this. If we take a look at copper and we look at really this range that we've been in, copper did break to the downside of this triangle here, broke to the downside, got extended a bit down here. MACD starting to reverse. We'll see what happens. I'm playing a 1-1-2 trade here, which means I'm okay with copper going lower. And if it goes higher, I have no risk. If it goes lower and falls into a trap, we're going to make 4 to 5 times our initial credit, which would be fantastic. It's kind of sideways action more than anything right here. And without drawing a bunch of crazy lines, if we go back, I mean, we can go back a ways and find this particular level. And I'm going to bring this level across for you. This level we've hit as resistance, or support once, twice, 3 times, 4 times on a weekly basis, support, and we hit it again 3 times alone last week, bounced off of that. I like this level here. I'm looking at the $3.55 level on copper. Let's see what happens. I think as China starts to reopen, this focus on AI, copper is going to be needed in a lot of these chips. I think there's a good demand starting to creep up for copper. I do like it longer term. We're going to play a 1-1-2 trade here on copper. Let's take a quick look at sectors today. And all sectors, all green. Largest up sector was retail. So you had the retail sector moving higher. MACD and RSI, MACD crossing positive, RSI moving up to 48. Like to see that 50 mark break, and then potentially that would be something to get into. It's been in this strong range, came down close to the bottom of this range again. And this range just continues to hold. So until something breaks in this range, I like it here. I think you can strangle retail at this point in time. So I think that's a good opportunity. And then regional banks having a day today, actually having several days. MACD has been moving higher. RSI is moving higher up to 48, not to the 50 yet. PSAR bullish reversal today. Regional banks looking pretty good here. Let's drop a trend line in here and see how this trend line looks. And if we connect a bunch of the highs, this trend line really turns into a little bit more of a falling wedge, which can be a bullish pattern if we break to the upside, like we did in Meta, like we did in AMD and some other stocks. I like it here. So I think regional banks, as scary as this may be, I think regional banks look decent here. And if you're thinking rates are falling, okay, so if the 10-year's falling, if the Fed's almost done, maybe there's one more to go. I don't know. We'll see when we get some CPI and some other numbers. Is inflation getting under control? We got one more hike to go. Hike it and be done. Let's see what happens. Are we getting a hold of things? The damage that could be done is the treasuries that all of these banks have bought are now underwater severely. And I saw some massive numbers from, I don't know if it was Citi today or some others on the losses right now on the balance sheet. Are we going to see any more regional bank disasters? Don't know yet, but right now regional banks performing very, very, very well. I don't think I would be putting a lot of my hard-earned investment money into it, but for a trade, I think it's a very tradable opportunity in here. It is in a downtrend, okay, which means they're not really lining up with an uptrend weekly and an uptrend daily. So it would just be a low-risk, high-reward type trade, like a butterfly or something like that. I don't think I would be putting on any naked puts right now in that. If we take a look, utilities, the next best sector, up 1.37% today. Utilities having a fantastic couple of days. XLY, so we're seeing consumer discretionary moving. And let's bring this line back over here. And I think this is a line to keep an eye on. This line has been a solid pivot level back here. We did touch base on it here on a down day and then bounced off of it. We have broken through it a couple times, but never really stayed below except this one day. And the next day we were up. We have bounced up or down on this line a lot in the last 2 weeks. I really like this support level here. And you're starting to see XLY moving higher. XLY is your consumer discretionary. That's your Amazon and your Tesla. They're the 2 big kahunas here. MACD going positive. In here, I'm going to actually take these ranges out so we can just clean up this chart a bit. MACD moving and crossing positive today. RSI moving higher. Looks good on XLY. Then you have materials bouncing higher as well, having a good day today. I mean, everything had a pretty good day. The two weakest were XLK. So overall, tech did not have a fantastic day, only up 0.15% on the session. And then XLE, even though oil dropped back in, still had a positive day. XLE looks decent in here. I still think you've got some downtrend to go. The weekly is not strong looking. I think you could fall more. And I'm going to wait a little bit before I get long energy too much in here, but I think there's some interesting stuff to watch there. And then if we take a look at some of the individual stocks, I'm just going to run through them quickly. Amazon, decent day. RSI and MACD rising on the daily. Still weekly, a bit bearish, but good looking session. But Amazon cannot break the 221 or the 50 EMA. Failed at the 21 today, even though it had a bullish PSAR reversal. We'll see how that plays out. Okay, Apple on the day, pretty much down a good portion of the day, and it ended up being down on the day. So Apple down, which is why tech, because Apple and Microsoft had two down days today. That's why tech was largely unchanged on the session, because two of the big names in there from a market cap perspective did not perform well. Apple was down. All right, but Apple is above its 21 EMA and slightly below the 50 EMA as well. And then on Microsoft here, you also had it moving lower on the session, breaking above the 21 and the 50 yesterday and staying above it today, hitting the top of this downtrend line. So we're going to see what happens in this opening up channel to the downside. Don't love it. Don't hate it either. If we can break above this, then maybe we get something moving. It's getting pretty tight. And if I look at a different chart here, and let's look at the weekly. We are in a squeeze firing here. So we are in a squeeze, starting to fire to the downside here yet, but we are squeezing on the weekly, and I think I want to look at the monthly as well. Let's take a look at the monthly firing positive. So monthly firing positive on the squeeze, even though MACD is flipping over. But I want to go back to SPY. SPY is also in a squeeze here, breaking to the upside on the monthly. Interesting to watch. Tight Bollinger Bands, tight Keltner channels in a squeeze. I think it's something to watch on SPY or, again, SPX, either one, whichever floats your boat. I think that's something to keep an eye on. All right, Meta, which is also breaking here as it was pushing higher on the squeeze chart as well. Let's get back to our regular charts on Meta. It continued its breakout. Our Butterfly is now up 9.5% in one day. So great looking move here for us. MACD and RSI moving higher. Google did not fare as well today. It was down slightly on the session. It's had such a great little run here. No real big deal. But you can see RSI maybe not getting as high as it should and tipping over here. So there's something to watch on this with Google. NVIDIA having a decent day, up a little over 1% today. NVIDIA moving higher. RSI had broken the 50 a couple days ago. MACD is moving higher. And you've got MACD and RSI also starting to turn for the positive on the weekly. We'll keep an eye on NVIDIA. Can it regain new highs here? And then Tesla was up pretty significantly today. It actually only finished up almost 4 points, but it was up almost 8 points on the session. The interesting thing was that Tesla came right to this downtrend line. So if I draw it from here, boom, boom, boom. That was its high for the session, and it failed at that high today. Does that mean anything? Not necessarily. MACD and RSI are both moving higher on the session. We are up 57 on RSI and climbing. Good sign to see RSI is continuing to climb on this move. We have not seen any divergence in RSI yet. Let's see what happens when we get to these highs, if we can break through this channel. So Tesla in this triangle formation, will it try to get to this gap and get ourselves a gap fill on Tesla? We'll have to wait and see, but that might be a near-term target for Tesla. And then AMD, I just want to point this one out because we got into this yesterday. We broke this descending wedge nicely 2 days ago, moved up, or really didn't move up yesterday, moved sideways yesterday, and then moved up significantly today. MACD and RSI have been rising. The weekly looks solid. I like it in here. We've got a put credit spread on here. It is now up 23% since yesterday. So Meta up 10%, AMD up 23%, our bond naked puts up 45%, and our oil naked puts that we had on is up 6%, all in one day. And then we also have a gold naked put, which is up 15% in one day. So really great 2 trading days in the account. And let's see what the account looks like today. All right, so let's jump in. And here's what we're looking at for the account on the day today. We ended with a 457 delta, 0.15% of our net lick. Perfect. We're right in that delta neutral range of 0.2% up or down. I like it, and it's fall as the market comes up. It's been falling a bit, which is kind of the natural move of things. Theta 1387, which is 0.47%, 0.4% is our goal. We are above that right now, so we're a little heavy on theta. Could be worse things in the world, so we'll take the heavy theta on there. Market, the account moved up again, some more today. 295, 122, new net lick. We are inching back to new all-time highs. In fact, this is the highest amount for the month so far. So 135. Yeah, let's adjust. So we are, from a net lick standpoint, should be 128. Let's see if my, yeah, no, we're just down a fraction on the month. So down 0.5% on the month. One more good day, and we'll be back to highs. The previous high set back on where we're about 307. So set back here on 919 at about 307. So we're close. We're 10 grand off, which is not a huge move for us. We've seen $5,000, $6,000 days. Just a 1% day is $3 grand. So we're just a couple of percent, 3% off of our all-time highs. Loving it. And we were able to book another $745 in profit today. So let's take a look at the account and see what we did. So first thing we did this morning is automatically we had a strangle in HE come off. So we had lean hog strangle come off for basically a 50% winner, $1,170 on that trade, 50% winner in 32 days in the trade. We put that trade on 9/8, took it off, or it closed itself today on the 10th. So roughly 30 days, 32 days in the trade, 48% winner, and a 20% return on capital. So really capital efficient, really great trade, a 20% capital winner. I did have 2 different trades on. I had a call spread early this morning, did get stopped out on that when we reversed and moved higher. So I stopped out on that one, took a little $600 loss. And then we put on a put spread roughly about the same time we reversed. And we took that one off for a nice 72% winner for only $200. So overall on the session, good days. We'll take this $745 that we played in here, have another strangle winner that we'll add to the fold. So doing really well. Love that. We'll look to see if we can get some other trades back on. And let's take a quick look at the daily small account. I don't normally review these trades too much. We don't do a lot in the small account. It's really well structured on 1-1-2 trades and a couple of strangles and a couple of naked puts. And that's the only thing that's this entire strategy is built on. So right now there is we started this with a $10,000 account. It's now up to $14,517. So we're doing really, really well. We are up very nicely on this account. So we're up 40% in this account since we started it last fall. So in less than a year, 40% in a small account. I've not added any money to this account. We just opened it at 10 grand. We're up to 14,519. In fact, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think we are $100 away from a new all-time high in this small account. Now, again, the small account is made up of a oil strangle, very low delta for buying power purposes, all MES 112 trades, and then it also has some 5 delta naked puts at 90 days that we put on. So it's another type of trade that we do in the account, especially for small accounts. I also have that going in the main trading account. There's a little method that I use on those. So that trade is actually up 23% now. So I'll take that thing off when it hits its profit target. Overall, though, we're in really, really, really good shape in this small account. But I like to bring it up because we don't touch base on it a whole lot here. But deltas, perfect. Just slightly negative. They've been slightly negative on those deltas because 112 trades move from positive to negative delta as they age. Theta 57, which is 0.39, almost perfect at 0.4% on theta, almost $100 away from a new all-time high. 61% BPUs is a little high, so we keep an eye on that, but it's really tough in a small account to keep your BP under control because any significant market moves in a small account expand that span margin a lot more. But we're in great shape on that account, and we'll take a quick look at the daily IRA as well. IRA is doing extraordinarily well today. We are at a 25 delta, which is 0.01%. We are almost exactly delta neutral. 449 on theta, which is 0.2. In an IRA, 0.2 is the goal because I don't have the benefits of massive span margin and margin buying in there. So we still trade futures because they are much more healthy for us from a leverage standpoint. And the large IRA is based very similarly on the same exact strategies. I've got an oil strangle that we're running in there. We've got a gold strangle that we're running in there. And then we've also got all 112 trades running in that account. And that's how it runs. And this account is now up to 227,316, which is a new all-time high. We started it at the beginning of the year at $200,000. And we also took a required minimum distribution of $10,000 out of this account. So technically, we're up, about 19% in this account if you take out the distribution, but obviously the distribution is gone. But percentage-wise, we've made a significant amount of money in this account. We've generated over $39,000 in gains on a $200,000 account since January 1. That's pretty close to a 20% return. So 20% in an IRA in an up and down market, outperforming a lot of the markets that are out there and outperforming a lot of other retirement accounts. Their BP usage, 68%, a little bit high, but we'll keep an eye on as we go. So I wanted to share a couple of those trades with you. You can see what we do. Fantastic day. Love where we're positioned. If you want to find out more about what we do, go into the description, click on the link. There's a discount code in there if you want to join our Discord. I would love to have you guys see what we're doing. I can't guarantee you that you're never going to lose money and that you're only going to make money, but I know that within the next week, you will have at least one trade that we will close that will pay for your entire membership for several months. And in a couple months, you'll have enough money to pay for it for an entire year. That's pretty much how it goes. We're conservative. We're not crazy. 3% a month. We'll do it every single month. Sometimes we'll outperform that. Okay, we're going to keep it rolling, do pretty well in this account. That's the goal. And for the most part, we've been there all year long. All right. So if you like this video, click the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. We'll see you guys in trading tomorrow. Go ahead and take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe.